And we're back. So the finals of Expedition, spring season challenge number 9. I'm joined here by I'm So Bad for the finals, and we're going to be seeing Spifferific against ABoss. So we can see how the bracket kind of broke out here. So Spifferific actually beat a Praxis mid-range deck, a little bit differently constructed by Paradox, but we'll see if ABoss is able to continue their undefeated streak. So you can see from this bracket, though, that Spifferific and John Cakes were able to pick up a few more points. So we'll bring it back to the leaderboard and break down how this kind of, lines up for people. I'm So Bad.
So we have what, 6 wildcard spots or 7 wildcard spots?
Yeah,
Seven
7.
wildcard spots because Gozu won twice. So the top 7 people who have the most points at the end of the season, which will be after our next event, will all be invited to the invitational along with all of our winners. Currently, it's Applechips, Crows, Jez, Derek Davis, the Bergand, Martin, and DQ Dogu. But I guess John Cakes is and Spifferific both might actually jump ahead due to their high points from today's tournament.
Yeah.
So really going to be a close race on this wildcard stuff.
Well, one thing that also changes the math is actually just the result of this finals match. So since Spifferific's in the finals, if they lose, they might be able to snag one of the slots. We only have one TNE. It's a Throne one for challenge number 10 before the Invitational. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe they're able to pseudo open up another slot by winning here. So there's actually a lot of people cheering for Spifferific, but I'm also cheering for ABoss quite a bit because it would be really cool to just see an undefeated run with a deck that's pretty innovative, not as popular as some of the other decks, and just take down a TNE.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this finals match. These two players are fantastic, and the decks that they brought are really interesting and new and not Argenport. So
yeah, not
that is all
Argenport.
good.
Yeah, not a pile of Unleashed cards and not Argenport. So maybe they found ways to kind of poke holes in the format that people felt like was already starting to get stale. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, very excited to see this new stuff here, and I think the players should be ready to go soon.
Yeah. Yeah, so neither player having taken a mulligan yet because you can see the 5 power and 1 power hand, so they still have the option to be able to mulligan, which I'm guessing they will both take.
Yeah, so we saw ABosses on the Praxis charge. What is Spifferific bringing to the table here?
Yeah, so it's a very primal heavy, to use Display of Survival and Island, sort of Skycrag deck. They are pretty much just splashing for Riva and then a bunch of Skycrag cards in Frostburn, Torque, Elemental Fury, and Skycrag Adept. We see every deck, besides the Praxis deck, I guess, trying to play some sort of board clear, and Elemental Fury being the one of choice for Spifferific. I actually like that decision a lot because it also addresses the Sill site.
Yep. Also, playing Zoltan Ambassador, who we really haven't seen come out too often, but this deck is chock full of heroes, so pretty good value there.
Yeah, we're going to see some interesting tension for Spifferific. If you play the Fire Sigil here, you get the choice if you want the Conclave to be the second Fire Sigil for Riva. But that makes you super far away from playing Island, so we might just see Conclave instead on Primal. But we're seeing the consideration that they only have so many fire sources and really want to get the Riva down.
Yeah, Island is one of those cards that is good on 4, but is pretty good later on in the game as well.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because you have all these 5s also. So it's like, okay, if you're going to delay the island until, you hit 5 power, well, you already have all these other 5 drops. So it presents kind of a really tough situation. I think we might just see some snowball and trick throw snowball clears here. Tough way to do it, but you gotta clear the nest somehow.
Yep, looks like you are correct. What do you think we're Oh, Cho'Gath. Okay.
Yeah, so Cheer Yeah.
Churgath?
Yeah, this isn't League
That's
of
tough one.
Legends. Yeah. But yeah, so we see Solus coming down, kind of just bringing the beat down and maybe trying to capitalize on the stumble. And yeah, spifferific, just anything for another power. And that's one small difference that we saw between, say, this deck and Roshi's deck is the number of inscribed cards. Here we only have the 4 Serpent Hive, so making it just a tad harder to hit these 5 drops. Relying on cards like Zoltan Ambassador to keep the power flowing, and we just see a head explosion there. So it's going to ABoss.
Wow.
ABoss one game away from being able to be undefeated in the TNE. And I don't feel like in the history of TNE we've had that many undefeated runs. Like just go, completely no losses in
I
matches.
think there have only been like one or two. I can't even tell you which player has achieved that fate. I want to say Gozu did it once.
I thought Game
Um,
Grump did it when they won the first, like the 2 TNEs ago, but I'm not completely sure. It's been a while.
oh,
No,
okay.
no, Apple Chips was undefeated in that one. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I mean, if ABoss is able to do it, that's like an accomplishment in itself. Like, I think that would be a super cool way to do it.
Absolutely. And I mean, his deck is just terrifying. I mean, Spiffer, I think, didn't stumble for that long, and he was just dead. Like, no chance.
Yeah. So here we're seeing ABoss on the play. I wonder if they're going to lead with the Dasher because in terms of removal, it does get countered by the Trick Throw. So we might actually just see Dasher no. Okay. So no Dasher at all. I thought Dasher no contract is something we might see. It plays pretty badly into Frostburn though.
Yeah, just really wants to get that Dino Nest down on two.
Yeah, so one thing that's good about the Ambassador from Spifferific's side is that um, other than cards like Bullseye and Searing Fist, there's not the most answers that ABoss has to the Ambassador. So even though it's a little bit dicey with your 2 power hand, you should be able to play Plunk next turn and on average be able to hit another power.
Yeah, 1-1 is surprisingly difficult to remove in a boss's list. There are a few cards, as you mentioned, that do it, but in general, a boss is pretty much just looking to clear the way, not looking to get rid of everything.
Oh yeah, I guess they have Riva too, but that would be a lot later, or like Solix with the killer. But yeah, just like in the immediate sense, not much. Choosing to attack here, that's really interesting. I guess you end up saving points of damage, and if you think you're not going to play another hero before you have to Elemental Fury, then this makes sense. But
Yeah, if your plan is to Elemental Fury, that does make sense. And like, are you blocking here with Wump?
I don't know, it's
Yep.
it's pretty tough. Like if that was the plan, maybe you could have held off and just tried to Frostburn the 2/1/1s, but instead I guess you get to Frostburn these 2/1/1s or X1s, which is pretty sweet.
That's actually very good value, yeah.
Yeah,
Is the
so
nest flipping this turn or next turn? One more turn on the
um
nest, I think.
so it came out on 2, so it should be one more 1/1.
Yeah.
So pick up a Nullify, which is actually pretty good because of the Inscribe clause. It's able to help you play Island next turn if you want to. You
I
can also just play the Fire Sigil and play Riva though.
Right. Well, we can't play Riva because of the contract, I guess.
Uh,
Wait, no.
there, yeah, there's no contract currently. Everything's
Oh
paid.
no, sorry. It just hasn't passed the turn yet. I was wondering why. I thought it was Spifferific's turn.
It's fine. Um, so we might just see the Elemental Fury here. So Spifferific is aware that there's a Warhelm in hand for ABoss. So knowing whatever you play the Warhelm on, you have the Permafrost answer to, which is pretty nice. We might just see double unit here, and then you can Warhelm the next unit that you draw. And that's
Yep.
especially good if the Phoenix ends up dying through damage instead of a card like Permafrost. We know it's going to be Permafrost, but that ends up lining up pretty well with your Warhelm in hand.
So
If the
Reba gonna
Phoenix were to
clean
die.
up the 3/2 and then allow us to permafrost.
Yeah, just such a clean answer. But at 8 life, oof, that was a huge turn. If it could have been a, a card like maybe Praxis Duster would have done a lot of damage.
Yep, or any of the 5 drops really.
Yeah, so kind of trying to spifferific, life toll is a resource. Now I think I have the better late game. You're starting to flood and just being able to go to town with these, promo dragon cards or dinosaur cards, sorry.
So interestingly, does not leave anything back
I guess, but
in the
yeah.
air. So
Hmm.
if ABoss had drawn a flyer, a
Yeah, like
charge
another
flyer
Phoenix.
could have
Yeah.
taken some damage there.
Right, another Phoenix would have just been game because the Warhelm would have made a 4 with the double damage.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Now Spifferific, the one that's starting to draw a bit of power, but they're able to just attack over for the win with the permafrost that's left over. So going to game 3, just how we won in the finals.
Very exciting and quick, no matter who wins. Definitely solid Eternal coming through here.
Yeah, and we see that for Spifferific though, even though they were able to win, the decision to play Skycrag instead of a more like monoprimal deck like we saw from Gosu last week, or just splashing even lighter by not playing Fire Sigil and not playing double fire cards by choosing to play Riva. We actually saw like, okay, you actually can't play your island in turn, turn number 4 or whatever because you have Fire Sigil in your hand. Um, okay, so the voice of God also just informed me that ABoss won a TNE earlier this season. So if they win, that's going to make it so that way there's 8 wildcard slots, which is, geez, that's a lot. And then if Spifferific wins, that kind of implicitly opens up a spot. So man, if there's a time to be staring at that leaderboard, it's going to be after this event.
Yeah, wow. That means that at least one extra person is very likely to get into the invitational now.
Oh, I
That's pretty
remember.
exciting.
Yeah, ABoss won with a like a Sky Crag Throne aggressive. It was just Yetis, I think, actually, with Torque, um, or something. Even if I'm not commenting, I try to watch. I try to watch all of these because it's just good coverage.
I really like the TNEs. I find them extremely entertaining, and I'm quite honored to be able to cast every now and then for you
Well,
guys.
well, what if someone in chat or someone watching, is concerned about how much it costs to, play and enter these tournaments?
Well, I would tell them not to really worry about it because I haven't been charged anything, and I've entered quite a few of these.
Yeah, I can't believe these events are free. Like, if I wasn't qualified for Worlds, I feel like I would just jam every weekend. Like, you get free looks and you get practice in this format that's not that common. The day 2 metagame of Opens is unlike ladder. Like, day 1 is kind of like ladder where you could play against anything. Day 2 is like, hey, when everyone knows your secrets, are you still able to win?
Yeah, playing in a tournament with open deck lists is definitely fantastic experience if the competitive play is what you're looking for. It really there's no replacement for it.
So here we saw Spifferific taking the debt for Torque, not being able to play Island, and then ultimately choosing to discard Plunk actually to be able to get the sled down. So we're gonna see a Frostburn here. Not completely answering the nest, but really addressing most of the damage that would be done. And kind of the turn before Exodus was played. Maybe if you're ABoss, you actually have to play the Exodus there, because you're aware that a card like Frostburn could be played, but it's kind of difficult when you know you're gonna get yet another dinosaur the next turn.
Yeah, ABoss really in a tough spot now. The Ageless Mentor once again does not have any friends to power up. And the Exodus, there's only the 1/1 dino on the board. So we're
Not
really
even
looking
that.
to the top of the deck. Not even that.
Yeah, that was definitely a turn where you had to hit one of your 5 drops, but instead Spifferific has the option to play one of their 5 drops. And I don't even think there's a single card that gets ABoss back into this.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something that could bring ABoss back, but just like some of these other decks, they really don't play well from behind.
All right, and Spifferific. So winning this, even though getting a ton of points, leaderboard race doesn't matter anymore. You locked it up. You can take the Spring Challenge number 10 off. Speaking of which, can we do we have a slide for that? We do. Awesome. So on July 2nd, so that July 4th weekend, so maybe we can get a larger turnout, which would be great for these free tournaments. And that one's going to be Throne. So after you've been Expedition out, you've seen, too many cards with Unleash and, too many innovative decks, but complain anyways. We have the 3 Expedition TNEs, this one being the 3rd. And then we have the Open next weekend, which is why Challenge 10 is not next weekend. But that one's also Expedition. Then we'll just, bring it on home with a little bit of Throne. See if we can get Ilya K in the booth or something like that. We'll see. I'm not sure on the casters yet, so no promises. Then the weekend after that will be the Invitational itself. And that'll be great. So that's a mixed format event. There's going to be Expedition, there's going to be Throne, and it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. We don't have the caster set, but I'm sure you'll be seeing me either in chat or in the booth, and it'll be a really good time. And yeah, do you have any parting words, conclusions, anything? I'm so bad.
Yeah, we have an exciting month coming up. Good luck to everyone who plays in the Open next week. I know I will definitely be taking my shot there. And I'm excited to see everyone join us in 2 weeks for our final TNE, that Throne event. This has been great fun casting with you, Watchwolf. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you to everybody watching. Hope you had a great time. And we'll see you next time.